Hey YouTubers, I had a good and a bad update. Um, Disappointing. It started out as a wonderful day. Found a deal on a aftermarket LS camshaft. Hopped in the Blazer, went to run over to, I think that's Overland Park, Kansas, to meet a guy to pick up a cam. My the luck was good to get the cam, but as it turns out, on my way home, my admittedly low mileage yet extremely old front tires went bad. And what I mean by went bad is we were not quite halfway on the return trip coming back from Kansas, and I couldn't figure out if I couldn't tell if I was getting a flat or what was going on. What turns out, my driver's side front tire has a severely slipped belt on it. So we we couldn't figure out what was going on, so it was a thumping and a bumping and moving me around, and so I just got her down to about 50 miles an hour and limped her back to certified cars. And Andy happened to have the original S10 rims that came off his '89 race truck he built with some, and again, brand new tread, but they're older tires, because these are tires he put on his S10 just, when he very first got it, before he started doing all the V8 swap and all that good stuff, and he just needed a good set of tires to roll it around on. But so I'm rolling the old school, the OG factory S10 rim with a 195 75 15 until I can get to the tire shop and probably get, my guess, or what I found on the online calculators, is I'm going to quit running these 235 60s and go to a 205 75 15, because I need a little bit more sidewall to soften the, I don't know, the road feel and the bumps and all that good kind of junk. Plus, I'd like to raise that front end up, that extra, what would that be, 3/4 of an inch over the height of these 235 60 15s. But that was the first part of my bad luck. Here is the second part. So rather than use my tried and true piston and rod disassembly method with using the ball joint press and a vise, I was trying to use the little tool that Andy made, and I will admit it's mostly user operator error, because he showed me he was able to dismount 2 pistons and not break one. So apparently I was doing something wrong, because I ended up, it's kind of hard to see in this video, but this boss is cracked. See that big, it's a hairline crack, but when it was under pressure in the vise, it was open really far. Then I used the wrong size socket, got it stuck in that piston pin bore, which that piston's probably usable if you just cleaned it, like slightly honed it to clean it out. And then that third piston is the one that Andy disassembled. There's nothing wrong with it. But now that I've essentially broken 2 of the 8 pistons, I'm probably just not even going to use these anymore. I'm probably just going to go ahead and bite the bullet, spend the $250, and get a new set of flat top, standard bore, full floating. And that way, whenever I go to get my scat rods, I'll just get the ones with the full floating in. I can do all the assembly of the pistons and rods at home with no heat, none of that junk. They just go together. We did find out, in my defense, the piston that cracked, that pin, let me see if I don't know if it'll slide out for me. Yeah, it's too hard to move, I think. Sorry about that. But the pin is smoked blue. Like, Andy thinks that piston pin was seized in the bore, and that that played a part into why that piston cracked while I was trying to press it apart. Because once we got it apart, the whole end of that piston pin that's in that piston is blue. Like, it's literally a dark blue from frictional heat. So, sorry about that. Got my stupid hand in the way. So, my day started out great. Went and found a good deal, maybe even a great deal, on a Crane LS cam. Coming home, lost a tire. Then got over there and rebuilt an HEI for Andy's cousin. And then broke a couple of pistons trying to disassemble them. And these are the ones I had drilled the drain back holes in. Even if I get brand new full floating pistons, I will be drilling those same drain back holes in the oil ringland or whatever. So let me run in here real quick before we lose all our daylight. Let me see if I can even get you in the tripod holder here, because I want to show you guys this cam that I ended up getting a deal on. It is, I've had a lot of trouble finding information on this exact cam. It is a Crane 224 cam. What makes this one slightly unique, whenever you go to look up the information online or find videos of it running, whatever, let's see if you guys can see this cam card, is this particular version has a 551 lift intake and exhaust. So when I try to look up videos on a Crane 224 cam, it's always showing 581 lift or 600 lift, which is, every other aspect of the cam. Please excuse the comp cam's box, that's just the box the guy brought it in. But every other aspect of the cam has the same dimensions or numbers as the ones you can find online, only it only has 551 lift. So it's part number 1449591, and it just says hydraulic roller special grind. So I don't know if someone just basically wanted that cam and didn't want that much lift, or was that originally a cam that you could buy from Crane? I have no idea. I'm literally not finding a whole bunch of information on it. But as the title or name of the cam would imply, it's got at 50 thousandths, it's 224. Advertised durations 286, 551 lift on both with a 1.7 rocker. Let's see, it's on a 114 lobe separation. So when you go online and try to look up a Crane 224 cam, you'll find several examples of ones that have 581 lift with all the other specs the same. 224, 114 lobe separation. It's either going to have a 581 lift or a 600 lift. For some reason, this one's 551, which, since everyone was debating back and forth about me putting this big of a cam in a 4.8 engine because of the short stroke, was that a good idea? Was that not a good idea? I don't know. I would like to pick up a little bit of power, even if it does take a little bit of low end away. But I'm more interested in the exhaust note. Like, you know what I mean? When I'm looking at them other 224 Crane cams, they sound really good. You know what I mean? I mean, even if I'm starting out as a poser and maybe don't have my drive line 100% lined up with this cam, I still love the way it sounds. Now, as far as RPM range goes, online, if you look close enough, those higher lift 224 crane cams in a 4.8 peak horsepower at like 68, but it depends on which article you're looking at, between 67 and 6900 RPM. I don't know at 100. I don't know how accurate all that is when you're looking at engine dynos and real world applications. But I'm not all that worried about the low end, like needing a stall converter, because I have a stupid 5-speed, which I always refer to as the adjust a stall. I can adjust the RPM of wherever I want it to launch the thing if I wanted. Naturally, I'm not going to do that because it's going to break my rear end. I have every intention upon putting in a 373 or 410 ring and pinion when I get my 8.8 built, so that's going to match up well. Here was a small piece of information real quick that I wanted to share. This cam, like people want to say, oh, this cam is huge, you know, I don't know if I'd put that in a 4.8. Let me throw this out really fast. A 4.8 has slightly more stroke at the crankshaft than the old 327 small block Chevy. Like, I know a lot of people try to compare the 327 to the 5.3s. Well, if you look at stroke and what makes the characteristics of that engine, a 4.8 is closer to being a 327 than a 5.3 is. And you know, when you start looking at strokes, you'll see it. But let me get this piece of information out before I run up on my 15-minute time limit so I can upload from my phone. This exact, almost, if you cut this lift from 551 down to like 447, because the old 327 350 horse hydraulic flat tappet cam GM put out factory was a 447 222 also on a 114 lobe separation. Okay, it advertised like a 292 duration, which, you know, I won't get into all that right now because I don't have enough time. Advertised duration almost means nothing. You want to look at your durations at 50 thousandths and all that, and your intake timing and all that. But so basically, this cam is like a modern interpretation of the old school 350 horse 327 cam, which ironically, okay, now let's take this in. This cam in a bone stock 4.8 is supposed to make about 350 to 360 crank horsepower. And that's, you know, like there are some people claiming that they've gotten upwards of 380 horsepower out of it. That's fine. But I just find it extremely ironic that this is basically like the modern muscular version of that old school 327 factory flat tappet cam with a bunch more lift and roller lifters. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. Since I've recently developed a cold start lifter knock, I'm crossing my fingers and, you know, holding my breath that we're going to be able to change the heads. We're going to do the head gaskets, lifters, springs, and cam all at the same time. But I am still skeptical that we will be able to change the head gaskets and lifters with the engine in the car. And none of us are really all that fired up about trying to pull the engine back out. But as you can see, all the cam journals, all the lobes, everything's in excellent shape. And it's got the cam sensor ring in the back, so I don't have to change my harness. I don't have to change my front cover, timing gears, nothing. So I think I really scored on that deal. And I think it'll really wake up that little 4.8 and make it sound pretty good. So anyway, I wanted you to see my good and my bad. I want to say the good and the bad in this video, because I had a couple of failures, a couple of unexpected situations, but I did score a really good deal on a camshaft that I think is going to really wake up and make the 4.8 sound good. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.